there is a lot behind the scenes that you don't see and hear about. And that is what I heard about her being told to leave. There were issues with the sponsors and that they did not want her there. There was a big blow up around it. And eventually she just ended up leaving. And I think because it was so abrupt, it wasn't planned.
Breaking right now, Meghan Markle has been forced to leave the Invictus Games, axed by Prince Harry after another PR disaster. The reasons behind this are extraordinary. It shows just how much tension has been created by this bizarre PR display that we have seen over the past 4 days. But hilariously, Harry gave Meghan, his wife, quite a symbolic send-off by encouraging herself to throw her down a snow slope. Royal YouTube sensation P. Dina is with me. P. Dina, that was odd. Harry was laughing demonically. It was like, get this woman down this sled and out of these Invictus Games because she's turned them into a laughingstock internationally.
Absolutely. It really was one of those moments where you watch her going down the hill and you're like, yes, be gone with you. Go, go. And there was something gratifying about seeing that because a lot of people did not want her to be there. And to see that happen in a fun way, but also I think it was a release for Harry as well to see her go down the hill and to kind of be in charge for a moment because usually he's not the one in charge. He's always usually the one being, pushed around, told what to do. And here he had a moment where he could, lightheartedly say, "Okay, go." Like he wasn't like he was caring and, "Oh, honey, it's going to be okay." Oh, like really comforting her. But it was like it was a joke. It was fun. Okay, go, and laughing. I thought it was hilarious.
P. Dina, can we just be honest about this, though? She has been axed. This was not the plan. She was absolutely loving all of the attention, but the problem is no one wanted her there.
Yeah, no one wanted her there. Reports were coming out even before the games that they did not want her there because usually the attention is taken away from, the veterans. And Megan is there to soak up the limelight. There was a lot of tension from what I heard behind the scenes that it would have been best had Harry just kept her at home. And, Megan's going to do what she's going to do. She used it for her moment, for her new social media comeback. And that's what it is about for her. And people can see through that. I mean, of course, people are going to be cordial. They're going to be, very nice in front of her. But there is a lot behind the scenes that you don't see and hear about. And that is what I heard about her being told to leave. There were issues with the sponsors and that they did not want her there. There was a big blow up around it. And eventually she just ended up leaving. And I think because it was so abrupt, it wasn't planned. Because if you look at the fact that she did give a speech prior to the games at the opening ceremony, it doesn't make sense that you would just leave and not say goodbye or say, tomorrow's my last day, because that's the more appropriate thing to do to let people know. But she didn't. And it was just all of a sudden she's leaving, she's gone. And, the PR spin was that, this was always planned. I would beg to differ that it was not planned and that something around the sponsors, the things that I heard was the actual truth that no, things had to change. They wanted her gone.
There was absolutely no way this was planned, P. Dina, because
Mm.
Meghan had planned to use this event as the big launch of her Instagram account, her new social media personality. And when she was giving that speech on stage, she never said, "Oh, I'm just here for a few days, then I'm going back to see the kids, and you're going to get the husband for the rest of the time." So it just didn't work. And this is the problem at the moment. everything she touches turns toxic. And we had the briefing to the Daily Mail from the Invictus insiders saying she's destroying this. The contestants are being overshadowed. It's far too woke. And the problem is that Harry, and I did always say this, and you know I'm no fan of Prince Harry, but I did always say, Pidina, the one legacy he had was the Invictus Games. It was pretty much the only thing in his life that he had made a success. And now he is letting his wife, who he can't even stand, I mean, we see his face when he thinks the cameras aren't on. We hear about the fights that they have behind the scenes, but he's still allowed Meghan to turn this into the Markle show. It shows such terrible judgment on his part.
Absolutely. And you have to look at everything that has happened to Harry up to now. It's not just the Invictus Games. It's the things with his family, his friends, his the things around the Royal Foundation, his connections to his country. He has lost so much. And you can't tell me that Meghan coming in and now overtaking everything around Invictus is going to put Harry in a good space. It's going to break him. This is the last straw because this is, like you said, the one thing that he had. And now Meghan is making it about her. And, he's seeing other people talk about it behind the scenes, and this must be weighing heavily on him. It is so sad because if you're a man, you're not going to allow yourself to be taken over by a woman with everything. I mean, you look at every single thing. Even these children cannot even be in his country, around his family. There is no ownership that Harry has around his own life. This was the one thing. This is the breaking point. And I think this is why you saw so much PDA on Meghan's part, because she was trying to overtake the way he's feeling. And the one thing I noticed around also the PDA, not once did Harry ever initiate any of the PDA. It was always initiated by Meghan. That right there is a sign that shows you it was not, reciprocated. This was one-sided. And Harry is letting it show. He probably doesn't want it to show, but his feelings are his feelings. He's not trying to cover up like Meghan is. So he's going to just do the natural thing. And the natural thing we can see is that he really isn't happy. This is his breaking point, I believe.
The crazy thing is, though, Pidina, given they are so aware of how the cameras are on them at virtually every moment, they can only play the game for so long, especially Harry. But we also saw those moments when Meghan was literally yelling at him when there was the possibility of the cameras being on. So you can only imagine what it's like when they are in private.
Yeah. So, there's a way you can contain it a little bit, but when no one's watching, when you are completely secluded, it is a fury that I can only imagine, because we have to remember there are people that have been traumatized by this woman and the way she has managed to work with her past employees that have been completely broken, stressed. I mean, this woman knows how to do some harm. And we can see that, yeah, behind the scenes, it is explosive. This is a way they try to contain it. But, at some point, she always breaks. I think there was a moment when even when she was looking at someone, not knowing the cameras were on her, she had like this stare in her eye. And then when she looked up, she was like immediately started smiling because she knew she let her face drop. And I can imagine that there's this constant trying to be on, and at some moment your feelings overtake you and the real you ends up coming out. That right there it was just a peek into who she is that was very enlightening to see the walls fall.
And the performance, Pidina, on the moments when they know they're in the spotlight, the performance is so over the top that actually it has the opposite effect of what they believe it does. So I want to show you what happened when Harry was sort of making a joke on stage about Meghan singing. And please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. I mean, it's so disingenuous. Michael Bublé says to her, "Oh, are you going to sing?" "No, I'm not singing." I mean, oh, it's really
It's
difficult to watch.
it's like fingernails going down a chalkboard. It's like, woman, calm down. I mean, she's like this giddy teenager. And I think she's so consumed with how people see her. She's overcompensating. And it does the opposite effect. It just makes her look like a joke. It makes her seem so animated and not real. And people can feed into that. People see it. I mean, you just look at what the president said about this woman on a world stage. You must be inside your head just pulling your hair out. I can't imagine having to put that kind of stress on me. And I guess how she deals with it is she overcompensates and is just overly excited. It's too much. And I loved in that last part where she was coming in from being on the stage, how Harry just kind of just dropped her arm and walked off. He didn't wait for her. He was just like, okay, I'm done. I mean, it was a very quick second, but I thought that was very telling too.
Yeah, totally. And by the way, without wanting to be rude, P. Dina, he is
Mm.
quite literally losing his hair over it. If there was a hair
Yeah.
transplant back in 2016, 2017, the stress has caused it all to go. One
Yeah.
thing I picked up on that he is hating is Meghan's new love of Instagram. You can see how quickly he turns the moment the camera is up in his face. And Paula M, one of your friends, P. Dina, and a fellow royal YouTuber, has actually put together these brilliant pictures of those moments, but overlaid it with the voices of Will and Jada Pinkett Smith when they were
Yes.
going through a very similar breakdown in their marriage over the way that Jada was using Will for social media clout. I mean, the parallels, P. Dina, between these two. And what did we learn about these two, P. Dina? It had been a marriage of convenience, of professionalism for many, many years.
Yes, that's very telling, isn't it? It's almost like we can see what's happening based on what has happened with Will and Jada. We can see what is actually happening with Harry and Meghan right now. We're not fooled by it at all. I just find it so interesting to see it play over again with now the royals because you have to think Harry is not one to want to be in front, with the camera always on him. And when your significant other, your spouse, is constantly trying to use you in that way, that has to get to you. Harry is trying to save face in public, but I think even, he can't sustain it much longer and is going to continue to really show where he's not happy, where he's just dissatisfied by things. It's a human nature to want to express yourself that way. And I think that's what he's doing. He's letting his frustrations kind of peek through, although he knows he shouldn't. I heard that their PR rep said to, try to, make it look good for the cameras. But, there's only so much you can do, especially when you don't really want to be in front of the cameras like that. It's so telling about the relationship behind the scenes.
Goodness me, it is. It really is. And there were so many moments where the real Meghan came through. And this is why, if you were advising her, actually, it was necessary to say, just go home, because there's so many. And this one overnight was when one of the competitors gave Meghan a bracelet. But if you have a look at this, most people, and certainly Harry, P. Dina, would just put the bracelet on. But she was clearly so grossed out by it, she just couldn't bring herself to do it.
It is so telling to see people kind of just lapse in who they want you to see. And this is what I'm talking about. Megan cannot fool anybody because who you are is who you are. The camera picks up everything. And the fact that you could not even put on this bracelet for people, for her, the woman who gave this to you, as a nice gesture to show, oh, I'm going to wear this. That just shows you the disdain that she has for people in general. She doesn't care that she's maybe offending this person. She's going to make it look good, for the cameras. But that you can't even be cordial enough to put on the bracelet for the woman tells you you do not really have a good bone in your body to be even basically kind to people. I mean, what difference would it have made for you just to put the bracelet on? That's the level of disingenuous behavior that we're talking about. She can't even do something basic for someone to show that, she's a good person. And that's just very telling. And it's also a way for us to validate the things that we see about her. It's so sad. But I think people are waking up to it. And maybe even that woman herself, after seeing that, thought, well, why wouldn't she put it on? I mean, come on. It doesn't make sense that she would do that. But hey, that's what we're dealing with.
And the problem is that Harry, and actually, I want to show you this tweet from our friend According to Taz, because I think she makes a really good point, P. Dina. She writes, geez, he's really struggling to fake it. And it looks like she is totally bollocking him for it as well, ruining their brand of togetherness. I'd almost feel sorry for him, but then I remember our beautiful and wonderful late queen. So nah, not even a tiny violin for him. And that's the issue, isn't it? We are all watching this disintegrate, watching it go down the pan, watching Harry's legacy of the Invictus Games be destroyed. Yet at the same time, I've got no sympathy. Seriously, not one iota.
Yeah, I always talk on my channel about learning, and it's a way to improve yourself. When you know better, you do better. And I think for Harry, no one's really going to feel sorry for him, because at some point you have to wake up to what has happened. You have to own it and just say, I messed up. But it was very revealing when he spoke at the Deal Book Summit, where he talked about people are always waiting for this marriage to break down, and then they wait, then nothing happens. I think he's trying to outshine people to show them that, oh, all is well, all is well. He's not willing to admit to himself that this was a failure. And I think the sooner he wakes up to that, the sooner he can pick up the pieces and get on with his life. But until he does that, if he keeps suppressing the obvious that this is a disaster, it will continue to be a disaster. You just keep going and trying to make it look good. Your life is never going to improve. If you want to stay in that state, you're going to live in misery until you wake up and realize and learn something, Harry, and just recognize you messed up. This can't be good for you, because you're going to keep dropping. Your face is going to keep dropping. People are going to keep seeing you in these real moments that you don't want them to see. And it's just for us a way to sit back, eat our popcorn and say, oh, okay, you're going to keep trying to cover it up. Oh, okay, let me watch the next thing you do. That's all it's going to be. It's never going to get better. It is going downhill further and further for you from here. It is never going to go back up. There's too much of a heavy lift to try to even make up for all the bad that has happened. You are going to have to work so hard to overcome everything that has happened that Superman can't even do that. I'm sorry. You have lost your Superman powers. You are not even a prince. You really have no value in America. It's over for you. Wake up, learn something, and then you can move on. That's what I say.
And I mean, as the Royal Grift pointed out on X, all of the trends are totally against these guys. P. Dina, Meghan Markle exposed. Meghan Markle is the problem. The Princess of Wales, which is going to be a dagger to the heart for her. Meghan Markle is a narcissist. Harry and Meghan ruined Invictus. And what's so fascinating about that is that we know the Sussex squad are on call, but even their army of bots and their usual tactics has been unable to manipulate social media in the way that they usually do, because this is just so bad.
Yeah. I mean, the Sussex squad, I mean, you can't have enough people to overcome anything. I think even the Sussex squad are waking up to what has happened. They're not really able to be effective with what they're trying to do. That people are really waking up to the reality of what is happening, and they too can't even try to make it work. And I think not even calling out the Sussex Squad and trying to, make it look good shows that you are, working and conniving with these bad actors.
Well, I mean,
So, this
P.
kind
Dina.
of behavior doesn't overcome.
Well, no, of course not, because P. Dina, Peace Adatoro was there. And she wasn't just there, she was sitting right behind Meghan in the stands. Do not tell me that is a coincidence. The same
no.
woman who has been pictured with Prince Harry, the same woman who has been pictured with Chris Ship, the same woman who has been pictured with Omid Scobie, and the red carpet was rolled out for her, first in Nigeria and now in Vancouver. So do not try and tell me that Harry and Meghan do not work with and encourage these Sussex Squad trolls.
That's exactly right, because usually you can tell by who's sitting behind them. Usually it's their security. The people that sit behind them are vetted people. These are people that they know and want to be, behind them because of their security or whatever. So it's a clear validation of the approval of their actions. This is disgusting that you have these kind of people representing you, people that you are willing to be seen with in your space. You are condoning these things. And it's like what I said before about Harry. If you're not willing to, like, look, this is wrong, call it out, and you're conniving with this kind of behavior, you are going to always get pushback because people will always see through you. I mean, look, we live in social media age now, right now, and people are calling it out everywhere. This is the new norm for you. You can't suppress this PR because people are going to come out and speak out against you on all these levels, these platforms. You cannot control this. So just wake up and understand that you will never overcome this nastiness that you are trying to put out there to get your celebrity or your good PR or to really make it and be whatever it is that you think you're going to become. It is not going to happen. The sooner you wake up and realize, the better for you, because you're just putting yourself in disaster after disaster after disaster. It just does not go better for you from this point on. It's just so entertaining for me. I mean, just to watch it with my popcorn, because I just can't understand how you can even condone this. It is ridiculous. Keep trying, Meghan and Harry.
Keep trying. I've got to show you this picture because, again, I don't want to be mean, P. Dina. You know I'm not the one. I never talk about appearance, okay? That's not really my
neither
thing.
do I. Yeah.
But the reason I'm showing you is just because people are saying times are tough for Meghan at the moment. She is feeling the strain. That's just why I'm showing you, P. Dina.
Yeah. Well, you
Do
mean
you
with her
agree?
age? Are you talking about, like, it just looks like she,
Yeah.
well, I think for one, I think she's lost a lot of weight, right? I think that is one way to show signs of aging. And I think the stress is part of that as well. I just think that's what
Yeah.
happens.
I
Even
mean,
when you don't have,
happiness sometimes does translate. She's had a very stressful period, I
yeah.
guess. But P. Dina, I know I spoke about this with Angela Levin earlier in the week, but I've got to ask you as well. This stalking and hunting, and actually, I would argue, criminal activity against Tom Bower, the author of Revenge, simply because he turned up at the Invictus Games, which he is fully within his right to do as a journalist, by the way, is just revolting. And I mean, if you look at the official post, for example, on X from the Sussex Squad podcast, they are actually encouraging the targeting of this man, encouraging the police to be called, encouraging people to film him. And let's just have a look at what went down in case you missed it. But fundamentally, Tom Bower, yes, he's a hard-charging journalist. He's also an elderly man. And again, I think this just exposes the Sussex Squad for who they really are. And P. Dina, you posted on X about that, disgusting how brainwashed these people are for Meghan Markle. Tom Bower's book spoke truth. We live in a free country and he can go anywhere he wants to go. But it was still horrible to see, was it not?
It was really hard to watch that because, like you say, he is an elderly man. And the lack of respect for a man who is a journalist who has written many books about many people, it's like you don't want to wake up to the reality, the truth of the matter, because he hasn't been sued. He wrote things that are truthful. And if this man is writing things about Meghan in a book, well, what does that tell you, Sussex Squad woman? That yeah, she's just not a nice person, and you're brainwashed to believe that this man, Tom Bauer, has done something wrong. You need to snap out of your delusion because this man has done nothing wrong. He's there observing. He can come and watch and do whatever he wants. If anything, the police should come and snatch your butt up for harassing him because he can write what he wants, he can do what he wants, and you should just go sit your butt down and just I guess continue in your delusion of who Meghan really is. He put it in writing for you to see, but you don't want to wake up to the reality of what the man wrote in his book. Okay, so this woman she is delusional. She's in my opinion, I mean, I don't like to go too hard in on people like that with attacks, but it just shows you the level of just disingenuousness of these people. They are so geared to just taking up for her regardless of what she does. It's like you have to wake up to who a person really is. That is what matters. You don't follow someone blindly just because. I guess if you're being paid, you do. I mean, that's what they're saying, that they're being paid. So, if someone that you admire is not doing good things, you read in a book or you understand this man has written some truths and that he has not been sued, then that should give you a moment to recognize, okay, wait a minute, this is not good. Because guess what? If she's done these things to other people, she'll do it to you. She'll do it to you. So it just tells you everything about these people. I mean, I wish I was there because I'm the kind of person I will step in and I will say something. I will,
Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness, yeah,
really, I
exactly.
wish they would.
P. Dina would be a good bodyguard of the Sussex squad for Mr. Bauer. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Look, P. Dina, can we just take one glorious moment again, just to relive Harry just saying, "Bye-bye, Meghan.
Yes.
Go down in the tube. Bye-bye."
I mean, it must be a big release for him. All the claw holding of her, her holding on his arm and his hand all the time. It must have just been a big release for him to just see her just go, just leave. It was really funny to see that. Yeah.
One of the lighter moments from the games unexpectedly became one of the most talked about. Prince Harry encouraged Meghan to ride a snow sled during a public event, laughing throughout the moment as she made her way down the slope. While many viewers saw it as harmless fun between husband and wife, commentators suggest others interpreted the exchange quite differently. The panel argues that Harry appeared noticeably more relaxed during the interaction, leading some observers to speculate that he was enjoying a rare opportunity to take charge of the situation. Whether viewers see it as playful banter or simply a light-hearted public appearance, the moment quickly spread across social media and became part of the wider conversation surrounding Meghan's departure. The discussion then turns to the official explanation surrounding Meghan's exit. Commentators argue that if the original schedule had always involved Meghan leaving midway through the games, many expected that fact to have been communicated more clearly during the opening events. Instead, they point out that Meghan delivered remarks at the opening ceremony without mentioning that she would soon be returning home. They suggest that her departure appeared abrupt rather than carefully staged. Some commentators further speculate that concerns expressed by sponsors or organizers may have played a role, although no official confirmation has been provided to support those claims. As with many aspects of the Sussexes' public appearances, differing interpretations continue to exist regarding what actually happened behind the scenes. A major theme throughout the discussion is whether media attention shifted away from the athletes themselves. Commentators argue that the Invictus Games exist primarily to celebrate wounded service personnel and veterans who have overcome extraordinary challenges. They suggest that extensive coverage of Meghan's fashion, public appearances, social media activity, and interactions with Prince Harry risked diverting attention from those competitors. Supporters of the couple may argue that any publicity ultimately benefits the Games by increasing global awareness. Critics, however, believe the focus became disproportionately centered on the Sussexes rather than the participants. This debate highlights the ongoing challenge of balancing celebrity attention with the charitable mission of high-profile events. The conversation next examines Prince Harry's long-standing connection to the Invictus Games. Commentators acknowledge that Invictus has often been regarded as Harry's most significant charitable achievement and one of the projects most closely associated with his public service. For that reason, they argue that criticism surrounding this year's event carries particular significance. Some suggest Harry now faces the difficult task of protecting the game's reputation while navigating increasing attention surrounding his own personal life and public image. Whether those concerns are justified or not, the discussion reflects growing debate over how closely the games should be associated with wider controversies involving the Sussexes. The discussion concludes by considering the broader implications of the controversy. Commentators argue that repeated debates surrounding public appearances risk overshadowing the charitable causes the Sussexes seek to promote. They suggest that whenever attention shifts toward personal controversies instead of the underlying mission of an event, both organizers and participants may ultimately lose valuable public focus. At the same time, supporters maintain that Prince Harry and Meghan continue to attract global attention that can increase awareness of important charitable initiatives. As debate continues over what truly happened behind the scenes at the Invictus Games, one question remains central. Can future appearances return the spotlight to the veterans and competitors themselves, or will discussions surrounding the Sussexes continue to dominate the headlines?